Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome to the August 18th, 2025 Town of Exeter Select Board meeting. As the hour is 6:50, I will call the meeting to order. And our first business this evening is hopefully to go into non-public very briefly, and I would entertain a motion to do so under RSA 91A 32C.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please.
Selectman Chartran.
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
Selectwoman Gilman.
Aye.
Clerk says aye, Mr. Chair.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. The board will be moving into non-public.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
Good evening again, Exeter, and welcome to the August 18th, 2025 Town of Exeter Select Board meeting. The hour is now 7 o'clock. We will begin our regular business meeting, and I'd like to start by introducing the board. To my right, Selectman Dan Chartrand. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
Our Vice Chair, Selectwoman Molly Cowan. Good evening.
Hi, everyone.
To my left, our Clerk, Selectwoman Nancy Belanger. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Selectwoman Julie Gilman. Good evening.
Good evening.
And we have our Assistant Town Manager, Melissa Roy. Good evening.
Good evening.
Our Recording Secretary, Joanna Bartel. Good evening. And my name is Nico Papakosendis, and welcome to those here in attendance this evening, respective town staff, and other folks, and certainly good evening to those watching at home. The board just went into non-public briefly for 10 minutes, and we will now again begin our regular business meeting. First order on the agenda this evening is public comment. This is an opportunity for members of the public to come forward and make comments to the select board. We ask that you give your name and address. Step right up.
Hi, Keith Whitehouse, 61 West Side Drive. Well, I was here once again just to reiterate last week about trying to get the all veterans credit on the ballot for this March, and was looking to get your support on that. And I think there's some confusion as to what that may or may not be. And, you know, I could entertain any questions you had, not that I'm an expert on it, but if there was anything you had on that. Anybody?
Any questions for Mr. Whitehouse?
I don't.
I'll ask a quick question. So you'd like us to extend the veterans' credit from the current definition of active duty personnel to all veterans, correct? That's what you'd be driving?
Now it's
No,
currently,
It's a different thing. Currently, the veterans credit, the standard 500 one, is for members who have served. The all veterans credit covers members who have been discharged for leaving service early.
no, that's not exactly.
Oh, my
Yeah.
So the all
different-
veterans credit would be for
Anybody
anybody
who's-
that has served. Okay, so the other one,
Yeah.
the standard credit is for people who have combat-related service. So that's the difference.
Yeah, I think in my committee, we discussed having people that were honorably discharged from training or something.
There's several types of discharge, right? There's
Yeah, right,
under
but-
honorable conditions, which is not an honorable discharge, right? So then there's, bad conduct, dishonorable discharge, general discharges. So this is for an honorable discharge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And many reasons for an honorable discharge. And the key is honorable, that they've served.
Yeah, and I think-
And they separated for,
Well, you might serve 10 years without being in combat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could serve 4 years, 3 years, 6 years, 12 years. It's possible. The years from mid-75 to mid-90,
right,
right?
they
So-
still served.
Right, that was in the Cold War. Many of us remember the war on drugs. So a lot of military was used in that. Coast Guard comes to mind. So, any other questions I could entertain? I would ask that you just do research on it and really get to the bottom of the facts.
I was just going to say, so Russ was the staff person, or one of the staff people supporting the tax exemption credit committee. So what I was going to do after Mr. Whitehouse was here last time was try to join their next meeting, have a discussion with them, because I think it's going to start there. They've already had some discussions.
Correct.
But I think it would be good for them to know that we have a resident or multiple residents looking to do this. And
Yeah.
I'm going to get the year wrong here, but I want to say maybe 2 or 3 years ago, somebody, I don't know if it was finance or it was Janet, somebody did some cost estimations as well. So I just want to see where they're at in the process, how they, what they're looking for, because I do know that they're looking to bring some things to the warrant and make sure that they understand that Mr. Whitehouse is interested. And I
Yes.
can report that back to everybody, if
Thank
that's
you.
okay.
When is the next meeting of that subcommittee?
So next-
Yes, I
I
believe
think-
it's next
It's tomorrow.
Tuesday.
Is it tomorrow?
The 20th.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Oh,
Wednesday.
I
That's
thought that
So-
was,
19, yeah, sorry.
yes,
And what time?
So,
yep, 6:30.
There we go.
just in case anyone's interested in attending.
Thank you.
6:30 on Wednesday?
Yep.
Yes.
And that'll be here in the Novak?
It's usually down in the Wheelwright, but I will double check that.
Yeah, so thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Good luck on your search.
Can I don't have a question for you, but I just have a comment, and I want to thank you for your time that you've come, now to 2 select board meetings to advocate for this, and you and I have
Yeah,
had
I mean,
an
I'm not
oppor-
alone. I have a lot of
Oh, no, I
support
understand.
in
Understood.
from other veterans, but I just, wanted to get it out there so the voters can decide.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, and I know that you're speaking for a lot of folks, so I appreciate your time coming, to the select
Yeah,
board. I
thank you.
appreciate the time that you've given me offline, that we've had an opportunity to speak,
I
and
appreciate that too. Nick.
I think the commitment that I can make to you is that we're going to continue the conversation, let the advisory committee do their work, and that's what they are. They're an advisory committee. They'll make a recommendation either to the select board, maybe the BRC
Yeah.
as well. And then it's up to us to, listen to take public comment and look at the data and all of that. And at the end of the day, I think it's the fair thing to do is to determine whether or not there'll be a warrant article in time for citizens to put together a citizens petition if it's not exactly what they want. And I think we can commit to that.
I appreciate that. Thank you all.
Great,
Have
thanks.
a good night.
Good luck tomorrow.
Good luck tomorrow.
Good luck. Tomorrow.
Any other public comment? And there's nobody online, so seeing none, we'll move on to reviewing the minutes of our regular meeting of last week, which was October 11th. Are there any re-
August 11th.
August 11th. Well, it says August 18th, and I was trying to get the 11th right, and I said October, so let's try that again. Are there any revisions or amendments to the regular meeting minutes of August 11th, 2025?
Just the start time? It says we start at 6:30. Did we start at 6:30 last week? Before, but we went into non-public, right? But we still put to the said regular time of 7. I just noticed that, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else? No. Seeing none, I would entertain a motion then to approve the regular meeting, Exeter Select Board meeting minutes of August 11th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Joanne.
Next agenda item, appointments and resignations. Earlier this afternoon, the Select Board received a resignation. Earlier this afternoon, Russ Dean voluntarily tendered his resignation from his position as town manager in Exeter, effective September 30th, 2025. The Select Board has accepted the resignation, and Mr. Dean will continue to assist the town with the transition until that date. Effective immediately, the Select Board has appointed Melissa Roy as interim town manager effective August 19th, 2025. Moving on, we'll jump into our discussion items. The first is the town clerk. Ms. Roy, are you going to speak to that, or?
Let's take a look. I'm just kidding. All right. So this is what we basically bring this every year. And it is just a vote to accept this list. Let me see. We do not go, just to be clear, we do not go and take people's dogs. I know that was a question. But this allows the police department to assist us. And I will say that at one point, I want to say this list was over 200. And so the town clerk's office has done quite a lot to get this list down. So this is just the requirement from the RSA.
And there's currently 41 on the list, so
Yeah.
they've reduced it by
They have. They've done a fantastic job.
80%.
Yeah.
Are there any questions for Ms. Roy?
No.
So this is just the board accepting the 2025 dog warrant?
Correct.
Okay. If there are no further questions, comments, I would entertain a motion to adopt the 2025 dog warrant as issued by the town clerk.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. With us this evening is Steve Dalton, who is our water sewer superintendent. And Steve, before you start, I note that you have a approval later on in the meeting. If the board will indulge me, when Mr. Dalton has presented his discussion item, if we could take up that approval now, and then we could send him home.
Yes.
I
Yes.
appreciate
Go
it.
ahead.
All right, so I'm here tonight to discuss a water restriction. We'd like to implement a level 1 water restriction due to the drought. We got upgraded last Thursday. The U.S. Drought Monitor changed the rating of this area from abnormally dry to a moderate drought. So we'd like to implement a voluntary level 1 water restriction, which would also does restrict watering between the hours of 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. For normal watering. But as of right now, the water supply is obviously diminishing with no rain really in sight for the next 10 days. The way the ordinance is written, the water restriction has to come from the select board. The way that I read it, I could be wrong. This is the first time that I've had to ask to implement a water restriction. So I guess what my question is the drought monitor gets upgraded every Thursday, updated. Is it possible to give the town manager permission to modify a restriction to level 2 if the water, so,
It's typically come before the board.
okay, all right. I just wanted to know.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how that worked. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's typically come before the board, and we've
Yeah.
made that vote.
Yeah, I was just
Okay.
thinking the next meeting, but I don't think it would make that much.
Are we in a spot where it would be warranted to move to a level 2? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, it could be,
Yeah.
because there's no rain in the foreseeable next
Right.
10 days.
Right.
The 10-day, forecast looks, not great for rain. And the monitor gets updated on Thursdays.
Right, and then we don't have
So that would put it out
meetings. Yeah,
a
yeah.
while before we could change the level rating if things progressively
Right.
got worse.
Mr. Chair, could I ask you a question?
Please.
What's the difference between level 1 and level 2?
Level 2, it changes, landscape watering by odd number addresses is allowed on odd numbered days. Landscaping watering by even number addresses is allowed on even number days. And still the same restriction with the hours of no watering between 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. So it just limits odd and evens.
What if we just went to level 2?
I was going to ask that
Okay,
question.
yeah,
You beat me
that
to
would
it.
be fine, yeah,
Because it's not going to rain, so.
correct.
And it's voluntary anyway, correct?
Level 2 is not.
Level 2 is
Level
not
2 is not.
voluntary. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's appropriate, though.
think it
Okay.
is.
I appreciate your moderation.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, the other thing too is that if we get, a ton of rain, he can always come back in September and we can modify
Right.
it.
Right.
Okay.
Just trying to think of this.
So it's the same restriction, which is refraining from landscape watering and limiting water used outdoors
Correct.
from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., but
Correct.
it's odd number, but level 2 is an odd number, odd days, okay.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
I think that's appropriate.
I do
Right.
too.
Let's take a stab at this. I'd entertain a motion that the Select Board issue a Level 2 water restriction whereby the public is requested to refrain from landscape watering and limiting water used outdoor for watering purposes from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. until further notice.
Do you want to do the odd number addresses on odd days? Did you just say that?
That's in the Level 2, but I can,
Oh, no, yep.
no, but I can, if you want to get specific.
No, you don't have to do it in the motion, just for
Yeah,
discussion.
okay, so moved.
So there's a motion.
I'll second.
There's a second. Any discussion? I'll just remind folks that the level 2 is the odd number houses with odd days and even and even.
And that's in the evening.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah,
Or first thing.
Or before 8 o'clock.
yeah.
And we will put that on our website. I know DPW will do that, and we'll do some PR to try to get that out to the community as well.
And maybe a press release for the media? Okay.
Sure? Yes,
Okay, so there's a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Steve, if you can give me 1 second to pull out certain. Okay, and this is on the Clemson Pond Engineering Evaluation Proposal?
Yes.
Okay.
So the warrant article, number 9, got voted and approved for use of excess bond proceeds for Clemson Pond cleaning and inspection in the amount of $500,000. Really, the first step of this is to evaluate all the infrastructure that's there currently, which are tide gates, the CSO barrels themselves that go under the Squamscott River and discharge into the Clemson Pond. These are different CSO barrels. They're not the ones that were just replaced. These ones are much bigger, 36-inch, used for combined sewer overflow purposes only. They're of the same era as the previous siphons. These ones are bigger, not as used as much, but they also haven't been inspected. There's a lot of overgrowth and overburden on the Clemson's Pond side of things, side of the siphons. There's a lot of silt that has to be removed just to gain access to be able to inspect everything. So the first step would be to hire engineer to be able to go and evaluate everything.
Okay.
Wright Pierce has, done all the work with the previous siphon job. They did the main pump station. They're very familiar with all the infrastructure in that general area, as well as Clemson Pond. So that was why we selected them.
Okay, so the contract will be with Wright Pierce?
Correct.
Okay.
For $58,000.
And is there any document for somebody, is it the town manager or is it the public works director?
So right now, this proposal, the engineer, I believe I talked with Wright Pierce tonight, and they said that it would be an authorized representative that needs to be able to sign this.
so it'd be the town
town manager.
manager or
Yes.
the
Yep.
designee.
Right, okay. Any questions for Mr. Dalton?
No.
And seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the engineering report phase contract to Wright Pierce for the Clemson Pond evaluation for the amount of $58,850 and to further authorize the town manager or their designee to sign the appropriate documents.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Steve.
Mr.
Thank you all
Chair,
very much.
If I may, just because I want to make sure that those people at home don't think that we're about to embark on another siphon project.
Correct.
So, because I don't want any panic.
That is very important.
The CSO barrels, like Mr. Dalton said, are 36 inches. So even and barring a major catastrophe, they would be able to slip line them or cast in place because they're so large. And we could shrink a little bit of their diameter, where the sewer siphons were only 12 inches and we didn't have that
Right.
capability. So I just want to,
Thank you.
again, there could be, stranger things have happened, but the expectation is this should be able to be fixed in place.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. You're
welcome.
clarification. That's very important.
Yes.
Terrific. Anything else for Mr. Dalton?
No, thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you
Have a
all.
good night.
Have a great night.
You too.
Two.
And now the moment of truth, our mid-year financial report from our finance director, Corey Stevens. Good evening, sir.
How are you all?
Good. How are you?
Well, I wish my conversation was as expeditious as Mr. Dalton's. That is not the case. So thank you all for indulging me, allowing me to come in this evening and speak to you about our town results as of June 30th for the general fund, water fund, and sewer fund. In your packet tonight was my memo discussing results for the three funds as of June 30th, along with the accompanying financial statements. As always, if there are any questions along the way, I'm happy to stop and talk those out. And unless there are any questions at the outset, I thought I'd start with just some highlights, things that have gone on in the last 6 months that are of interest and of reminding. First and foremost was the implementation of our three collective bargaining unit union contracts in the first 6 months. The last piece to implement was the wage increase, which we did as of July 1st. We projected that the contracts would add $361,000 to the general fund in 2025, as well as $34,000 each to the water and the sewer funds. So as you look at the numbers tonight, bottom line, total general fund, total water fund, blah, 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 they won't look like what you saw in the warrant article for the operating budget because we've now added those other elements into the budget because they truly are operating pieces. We just needed the voters to approve them before we could incorporate them into the budget. So they're there now. Secondly, in July, we completed our bond sales for 2025 through the New Hampshire Municipal Bond Bank. Our funds were received last week on the 14th for 3 projects for a total of just over $19 million. We're funding the police station with fire substation for $17.5 million. We were awarded a rate of 4.3% for a 20-year bond. We have the Linden Street Bridge repairs, which are underway now. For those who live up there, they know that. $1.257 million at just over 3% for 10 years. And then we have the Public Works fuel island replacement for $575,000, and that was just over 3%, 3.24 for 5 years. Rates are elevated from last year, or just around what last year's rates were, so nothing out of the ordinary there. We also initiated purchase of 3 pieces of equipment totaling $481,000 with a lease purchase agreement with TD Bank for just over 4% for 5 years. So we've done all our borrowing for the year. And I included the schedule at the very end of the report this year that showed where we are with various projects and the funding status. Our financial audit for 2024 is nearing completion. This is the second year we've used Plodzik and Sanderson. It's been going great. They're a great group to work with. They do a great job. And we are anticipating them wrapping up later this summer. I'm hoping that we will issue towards the end of September, which is great. Our general fund unassigned fund balance is projected to be $5.99 million, which is around, I stated for $700,000 in the report, I believe, but it's actually closer to like $550,000 increase over the prior year. And then I guess lastly, I know I put out an email last week and Mr. Wright spoke to it at the last meeting. We went through the process of obtaining a credit rating for the town over the last month or so. S&P Global Ratings did the analysis for us, and they issued what is called an issuer's credit rating. It's not to get too far in the weeds, but you can rate a bond that a town is floating if we were to float our own bonds, or you can rate the town as a whole, and that's what we did. We got an issuer's credit rating. Came back with a AA+ with a stable outlook on the town. That's just below the highest level of a AAA rating.
Have we ever had one of those, a AAA rating?
What's that?
Have we ever had a AAA?
I don't know. I know the last one was not that.
Yeah.
And it's also important to realize that with an issuer's credit rating, it's not the same rating scale as a issue of a bond rating. It's different. But it does the same thing. I meant to bring what the definition of it was, but it is essentially strong and stable.
That's good. I learned a statistic last week maybe, where the state's credit rating and bond rating is really, really high, and it is only because we have so many areas where we could raise revenue. So it is very stable.
Yeah, and I guess just to quickly point out some of the things, I know I sent the report around, but some of the positives about the town were it's diverse, it's got a diverse and growing economy, it's got a stable operating environment, strong tax base, and stable financial performance. Some of the pressures that they noticed, and I use the word pressure as opposed to negatives, but our use of fund balance was something that they kind of paid attention to. I kind of went back to them after we had our phone conversation. I mean, we're encouraged to use our fund balance, because other than property taxes and motor vehicle registration, what do we have, right? So we use our tax, and Mr. Dean would tell you, we smooth our tax rate over the years with that fund balance. So we have a policy that keeps our fund balance within 5 to 17% as advised. But they took issue with using that as a way long-term, that we want to make sure we keep our reserves up, and that using that was something that they at least looked at with a little bit of concern. Other things that could hamper our rating would be if we increase our debt. The last financial statement that I could give them to evaluate the town on was 12/31/2023, which isn't a year later, and it certainly isn't with $19 million of a public safety and so on and so forth. So this credit rating that we got, we're going to be able to maintain it year over year as long as I give them financial statements and keep them apprised of what's going on in town. For no extra cost, they will maintain that rating, which was part of the appeal. So I would suspect that we're going to start to see some pressure on our rating as we go out in out years, given the challenges we have around borrowing and budgets and all. So that was the credit rating.
Fascinating. Thank you.
You're welcome. Excuse me. Okay, so diving into our general fund, and I'm just going to try to hit the highlights as best as I am able to do. The general fund approved budget for 2025 was $23.9 million. As I mentioned, as you see in the reports, it's 24.6, but that's because we added the union contracts and our lease purchases and the other things we do through taxation. Revenue at 6/30 was $11.3 million, and expenses were $10.7 million. Looking a little closer at general fund revenues, total operating revenue as of June 30th was 46% of the 2025 budget. What you're going to see in this report, like many years, is things are pretty consistent. I mean, that's one thing I've learned over the last few years is we kind of do the same thing and have the same performance unless something goes really wrong year over year. So 46% is pretty consistent with the prior year in terms of what we recognize for revenue. Breaking down the $11.3 million, that's $7.7 million in property taxes and $3.6 million in other revenue, and I'll explain a little bit of that as we go along. Regarding property taxes, in May, we billed $32.3 million, which was up just about $1 million from the prior year. School and county get 76% of that, or about $25 million, and of course, we get 24% at $7.7 million. As of 7/31, I use that date because it's the most recent I have, we were 97% collected, which is a very solid, consistent collection rate for us. We have about $1 million of outstanding tax revenue at the moment. And just a little bit of perspective, as far as 2024 abatements. We had a reval year. You might think, okay, what does that look like? We budgeted $150,000 for overlay, which is our term for abatements, and we've paid out $60,000. I would consider that to be pretty good.
Yeah.
So looking at some of our other categories of income, I would just highlight a few of them. Building permits is having a completely opposite year from last year. $500,000 in collected fees as opposed to $198,000 the prior year, but 100 more permits this year at mid-year than last. Department's been very active, including one of our biggest permits, which was the PEA renovation of Academy Hall. Our income from departments at mid-year was just a slight improvement over the prior year at $41,000, an increase, Revenue from building inspections and our school resource officer was an improvement as well. And then finally, interest income remained strong for another year. Through mid-year, we've collected $295,000 of interest income. The results continue to exceed our budget expectations, and it's a slight increase over the prior year. Jumping into general fund expenses. As I said, total operating expenses through June 30th were $10.7 million, which is about 44% of the budget, which is exactly the percentage we had spent in the prior year. And it's been consistent over the last few years. General expenses were also more or less in line with our expectation through category, groups of budget through the year. As far as labor is concerned, we've had some success this year with our hiring, but I would say that Ms. Roy would probably agree 1 step forward and 2 steps back is what it kind of feels like right now. We get some wins and then we get the sales, our sales knocked down, and up into including the last week. Staff recruitment, I'll say, Melissa had asked our department heads of leadership, what's your top priority into a department? It was, how do we recruit? How do we retain? So that's an important issue over the next 5 years. So we need to continue thinking about that. So looking more closely at the various groups that make up the budget, general fund expenses, we have the general government group, which is select board, town manager, human resources, legal, tax clerk, and elections. Spending was generally in line with expectation at 50% at mid-year. As you know from the Keegan report, we moved the ATM, assistant town manager, into the town manager's budget, so that's a change. We were also lucky enough to get support for adding a human resource director this year. We are actively pursuing someone for that position. So right now, as a result, HR expenses are just 22% at mid-year because we haven't put that person in place. Town clerk fortunately remains fully staffed. You might recall in '24 they started the year with some staffing challenges. Finance, my group, is now made up of finance, tax, assessing, and IT. Through the Keegan report, we added IT in. IT had 1 internal promotion with the retirement of Mr. Swanson, and then we backfilled the position with a new hire. Wage and benefits are slightly over budget as a result of those shifts within the IT departments. Finance and tax also, and historically, are running ahead of budget expectation at 60%. We have our large Munis software payment that happens in January, so that puts our budget at the get-go ahead of pace, so 50%. Tax also had some elevated costs around issuing certified lien notices this year. We had quite a few of them, as she's required to do. Moving to planning. Planning also had some changes as a result of the Keegan reports. They are 46% spent overall at mid-year, and economic development was moved under planning in 2025 as part of the Keegan management report. Moving into public safety, police, fire, and DPW. Police budget is 44% or $2.1 million spent at mid-year. The department had 1 open position and 1 long-term absence during the year, or through the first 6 months, sorry. Spending on sick replacement and training coverage was also running a little bit ahead of budget. I met with the chiefs on budget recently, and they are monitoring those categories and addressing them accordingly. Dispatch budget was 40% spent due to the timing of new hire starts during the year, coming and going, getting people on board. And just a side note on really public safety in general, you might recall in 2023 we commissioned to have a communications console constructed.
Yeah.
And that has now been completed. It's not on site. It's being housed by the company that built it for us. And the decision has been made to wait until the public safety complex is completed to install it and not install it now. Yeah, I think that comes with all of the potential risks that were talked about when we decided to do this thing, but based on where they are and how close we are to that building, I don't think they wanted to put it in place just yet. And that's all I'll say about that. We'll get the guys in here to talk more about it.
Sure.
That is that. In fire, budget was 44% spent at mid-year, $2 million. Divisions were fully staffed during the first 6 months of the year, and they only recently suffered 1 loss in the departments. Regarding EMS, the ambulance revolving fund, they were 450,000, well, I'll get to the bottom line. We had a net income at the 6-month mark of 171,000 compared to 157,000 the prior year, so fairly stable. I know Chief has said their call volumes are definitely up, so not unexpected to see that net increase. Also, a little bit of news there on gear that they're working on bringing in their PFAS turnout gear. We understand that should arrive sometime this fall. They're in manufacturing right now. And that was paid for with ARPA. Remember ARPA?
Wish it would come back.
Those days are gone forever.
That was another schedule I put at the back of the report where we are on various projects that are left in the spending there. Moving into our final public safety, public works, the mid-year spend rate for the department, it was consistent with the past 2 years at 38%. Couple things that are playing into that. One is, they don't get really going on their spending until after the March vote. As I mentioned, 1 step forward, 2 step back on hiring. They had 13 open positions on 1/1. They have 9 positions today, and that includes water sewer. Open positions include engineers, mechanics, heavy equipment operators in DPW, plant operators and heavy equipment operators in water sewer. Adding to those results were some notable general expense lines, non-wage lines. In highway, the paving budget was essentially unspent or uninvoiced, if you will, at mid-year. They're doing the work that we just don't have invoices in the door just yet. Building maintenance, the project list, the $100,000 we give them every year was 15% spent at mid-year. Projects include AC repairs in this building, repairs to the Historic Society building, as well as repairs over at Town Hall. I am understanding that they will continue to spend on the budget in hopes of spending it down. Snow removal, we haven't had the same luck that we had in 2024 and 2025. It's been a difficult year. We're 123% spent as of 6/30. Contract services for snow fighting, we're at 152% as of mid-year. And equipment repairs, we're at 127%. Spoke to Jay, it's been a tough year. We're definitely relying on contractors while we don't have people to plow. So there's a cost. We will be requesting money from the snow and ice this year. We did not in 2024. Moving into welfare and human services. The welfare budget was 48% spent, 85,000 at mid-year. While direct relief for housing assistance has declined 13,000 from the prior year, housing assistance remains a top request of the department. We were just talking to our welfare administrator this afternoon, and it's tough when rents for 2 people are $2,600, and you're someone that needs assistance.
Can I ask a question there?
Sure.
Last year, or the year before, we changed the law so that if somebody is referred to Exeter from another town, then we bill the other town for whatever expense that we provide. Is that happening?
So we have the policy in place. I can't speak as to whether or not it's happened yet, but I know that if it had, we are requesting. So I apologize. I can get back to you and look on that, how many times it's happened. But I think.
Just curious, because I know I know we have the process in place.
Right.
I was just curious if it was
Yeah,
occurring.
I will definitely follow up with that and get that for you.
I'll help you with that, Melissa. I don't
Yeah.
know the answer myself. Thank you for that, Julie. So just a bit of an update on our welfare administrator. As you know, we installed someone last year as a new position. Our great staff member had to resign as she was moving out of town, and so now we are back looking for a welfare administrator. Human services, our contributions to service organizations that we do each year was 100% spent as of mid-year. Moving into park and recreations, spending within budget expectation, nothing too out of the ordinary. Recreations budget was about 47% spent overall. Park and Recs tends to spend in the spring because they're prepping for the seasons, whether it's buying supplies or raking or whatever happens. I'm simplifying it, Craig. I'm sorry, but a lot of the activity and a lot of the effort gets put in before 6:30. You'll recall we have a new senior activity coordinator position in 25. That is split half between general fund and half rec revolving, and that person has been installed. Looking quickly at library budget was 58% spent at mid-year, which is in line with the prior year. A lot like park and recs, or park, in that a lot of prep work goes into getting part-timers on staff for the summer. So they're doing a lot of work in the late spring. We see a ramp up of their part-time wages, which coming September 1, those wages will fall back off again. We've been working with the new ED executive director over there, which has been great, and she's on top of her budgets. And we've done some forecasting out through the end of the year, and they're looking pretty good. We also, we have the library. Everything is, for us, with library is wages, and then there's the library services line. We've given the library all of their library services money as of mid-year, so that also elevates the spend rate to that 58%. And then finally, debt service in the general.
Just a quick
Sorry.
question on that. So you've dispersed it to them.
Correct.
So you show it as 100% dispersed.
That's right.
But they probably haven't spent all that yet,
That is true.
because it's at the discretion of the trustees of the library, correct?
Yeah, I don't know what the mechanics inside are, and I assume that they haven't spent it all. I would imagine they, we were talking to Julia just today about what goes into that library services line and wanting to be able to talk more intelligently about it at upcoming meetings, and we're going to hope to see that. But it's operational, so they're just like us. They're spending throughout the year on services.
I'm delighted that Julia and you have a great working relationship.
Yeah, I think it's true. She's attending our operations meetings that Melissa coordinates. She's really good to work with.
Awesome.
That's really great to hear.
So general fund debt was a decrease of $121,000 from 2024. Retiring debt of $292,000 was offset by interest expense on our bond anticipation note for the public safety complex. We borrowed a little bit of money last year, $3.5 million, to get us underway without doing the full note until this year. We incurred $171,000 in interest expense, which got paid just last week when we paid off the bond, and took out the bond. But the good news is we were able to offset that $171,000 of interest expense with $130,000 of interest income over the last 12 months. So our net cost was somewhere in the $40,000 range on interest, which was good. Debt as a percentage of overall general fund budget decreased from 9% in 2024 to 8% in 2025. So moving into our enterprise funds, starting with water. This year's water fund budget is $4.63 million, which was a decrease of 6.6% over 2024. The decrease is attributable to the reduction in debt service and capital outlay year over year. You can see that pretty clearly in the budget versus actual report that I provided. The water fund ran a net operating surplus of $582,000 for the first 6 months of the year. That's very similar to last year's results. The reality is with all of our funds, we don't make our major debt payments until July or first part of August. So you don't see it in the first 6 months of the year. So it can make it seem like there's a surplus. Clearly, as we get further in the year, those numbers will start to tighten up as far as our surplus, our operating surplus. Revenue for the water fund is stable and consistent with the prior year. 2.3 million collected as of mid-year, representing 50% of the budget, which means we're basically on pace to collect what we need for the year. On the expense side for water, overall operating expenses at mid-year were 38%, 1.7 million. Water, on the labor front, water and sewer were both able to hire an assistant manager in late 2024, which they obviously share. And then water has one open full-time position and one shared position with sewer. The department is currently working on two significant projects, the groundwater source development project out on Drinkwater Road, and an evaluation of our next steps to address needs out of the surface water treatment plants. So more to come there. And then finally, looking at the sewer fund. Sewer fund budget is 8.2 million this year, 9.2% increase over 2024. The increase is attributable to the start of repayment on the sewer siphons. In the case of sewer siphons, it's about $610,000. We also pay that in the first part of the year, so that's actually reflected in the 6/30 results. Sewer fund ran a net operating surplus of 1.5 million for the first 6 months of the year, which was a decline of 600,000. Mostly, as I say, that surplus is a decline due to the new debt service on the sewer siphons. Total operating revenue collected as of June 30th was 3.6 million, 2% increase over the prior year. As you know, our septic receiving facility is now online, and we should start to see revenue generated from that shortly. Good news, as Julie knows, we expect to see the state continue their state aid grants, which contributes to our sewer debt service. We get about $1 million a year from the last 2 years budget cycle, and we understand that's locked in for this 2-year cycle. So we are pleased about that. That is helpful, and it's helping us to maintain our reserve in the sewer fund. On the expense side for sewer, overall expenses at mid-year were 26%. We have a huge payment coming on our wastewater treatment plant that'll accelerate that pace of spending. This was a 7% increase in the rate of spending over mid-year 2024. Again, the siphon debt payments. We're also using some outside contractor services to assist in running the plant right now. I think because of our staffing levels, we've employed someone who has the appropriate credentials and experience to help us run the plant right now. Sewer also has one open full-time position and one shared position with water. And then finally, water sewer receivables were roughly 1.4 million at June 30th. $57,000 increase over December 31st of 2024. The composition of age receivables has largely remained the same, with some improvement in our over 90 days collection, which is great. And then finally, as I say, I put a couple of schedules in just to show you that we have been spending the other money and the individual warrants throughout the year. The first 3 items were sidewalk tractor, dump truck, and ADA accessible van. All 3 have been purchased. All 3 came in under budget. We've funded all of our improvement funds, our capital reserve funds. A little bit of an update on grants. We did not receive the public EV charging facility grant, so we will not be receiving $96,000, nor will we be spending $24,000 of fund balance.
That's too bad.
But we did, as you know, receive the styrofoam densifier unit grant for $50,000, so we will be spending $30,000 of fund balance.
Yeah, that is good news.
Yeah.
The other is not so much, but
And then ARPA, as you may or may not know, 12/31/2026 is our drop dead date for spending that money. We are in good shape. There were 3 items outstanding as of spring. Voting machines, we recently received the invoice. We received the equipment, so we'll be paying for that. The PFAS-free gear should be coming in the fall. And then Dave Sharples, our planner, had commissioned a complete street study, of which we have $20,000 left, but I'm not worried about spending that by the end of '26. So in good shape that way.
Mr. Chartrand?
The one thing that is not on track is the transfer station improvements. Is there a plan for getting that done?
If I may, I
Yeah,
do
you
have an
may.
answer. I may. So they're doing the design work with Paul Vlasic right now. They're waiting towards the end of the season because the summer is their busy outside of
Makes sense.
in-town roads and that kind of stuff, and then they'll do it in the fall.
But there's a plan to
There is a plan, yep,
spend that money to get those improvements.
correct, yep.
I do know
Our road has
the
been
ramp
ripped.
is falling apart. And I
Yes.
just had to patch it, so
They're getting ready for it.
awesome. Good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your thorough report, and the timing of which is great as we get ready to review the draft budget late next month. I mean, this is a good overview of where we're at
Yeah.
mid-year. And I just want to say thank you to you and your department for all the work that you do, your leadership, and obviously, it's one of the reasons why we received that A+ credit rating. So thank you for what you do and what your department does.
You're welcome. We appreciate it.
Are there any questions for Mr. Stevens?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Corey.
Thanks,
Yep.
Corey.
Mr. Chair?
Please.
If we could go back to the dog warrant for just a minute, you guys had voted to accept it, and I'm wondering if we may be able to make a motion where it says authorize the select board to sign the 2025
Oh,
dog
sure.
warrant.
Sure.
And that was my mistake, I apologize.
I think I made the motion. Just give me one moment to, I didn't write it down. I think,
Joanna, could you refresh our memories as to who moved and who seconded?
so I'm going to withdraw that motion.
I'll withdraw my
You need
second.
to make a motion to reconsider. We voted on it, so you can't withdraw it.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, so we can reconsider that vote.
yes. And I will second that, if that was the motion, right?
Yep.
So I will second to reconsider that vote.
Any discussion on that and the reconsideration? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, reconsider, and the motion needed to
To authorize the
authorize
select board to sign.
Okay. Then I would entertain a motion to authorize the select board to sign the 2025 dog warrant.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, and sorry
Oh,
about that
thank
again.
you for
catching that.
Okay.
I'm going to turn it over to you, please.
You are. Okay, I move this land use change for map 112, lot 7, in the amount of $5,000 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We are ready for permits and approvals. Mr. Bisson, you've got quite a bit here. So I know there was a supplement to our packet. If you could just let us know where you're at, where you want to start, and give
gonna
us a
start-
moment to get our notes ready.
Yeah, we're going to start, Mr. Chair, right with the first one that's actually listed, the impact fees. And I'll give the board also an update on 10 Hampton Road.
Before you do that, keep in mind, we have these as well.
Right.
Yep. Okay.
So we're not going to do those first,
Let-
okay?
As-
No, that's
as
fine.
order. Thank you.
The Exeter Multi-Generational Community Center, located at 10 Hampton Road, is nearing completion. We're excited. We're in the final phases. We did, as Assistant Town Manager Roy made you aware, we filed for a 30-day extension, and I'm glad we did because the ADA lift is on back order. So we are hopefully having that soon. But one of the things is what we're looking, the final elements of the renovation is the parking lot. Currently, the existing parking lot is a regular shape, poses challenges for parking. Anyone that's been up there on a Saturday, it's a hodgepodge. The pavement is deteriorating, expecting to continue, presenting maintenance difficulties for the town to ensure safe surface for visitors of the community center. The only portion that was in the budget for the construction was address the ADA access to the main entryway as well as drainage. And to establish a continuous solid surface, our construction manager has recommended paving the entire lot concurrently. So one of the things we are gonna do is eliminate, if anyone's been there, there's a Y at the beginning. We're gonna make it a narrow driveway, so it's a delineation so people know which side is to pull in. We're seeking approval to utilize the recreation impact fees and the rec revolving fund to finance this segment of the project. Therefore, finalizing the transformation of 10 Hampton Road into the multi-generational community center for a safe entryway and for our residents that will use it.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Any questions or comments for Mr. Bisson? No. Okay, seeing none, I would entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Recreation Department to utilize $54,000 in impact fees and $3,500 from the Recreation Revolving Fund to contract with MWS Paving to grade and pave the 10 Hampton Road parking lot.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yeah, right. Now we will move on to our proposed park improvement projects. I kind of lump them into Gilman Park, the rec park, the Dan Healy Pool, and we'll go down that direction. So prior to, in 2024, the Rec Advisory Board discussed a lot of these and supported all of these projects. So we're now due diligence. The summertime is not a time we try to do a lot of projects. We try to wrap them up beforehand because the summer gets too hectic. So this fall, if you will indulge me, we're looking to replace the Gilman Park infield. Anyone that's played T-ball or grew up here playing T-ball realize it's not really an infield. It's just dirt cut out to look like an infield. So it doesn't drain. It's very muddy. We solicited 4 different quotes, as you can see. We did not recommend the lowest one, $10,700, as we felt that it was not enough detail in his bid. We are suggesting Mission Turf here in Exeter, New Hampshire as our go-to vendor. Mission Turf is specialized in athletic fields for $14,750, and that will replace 8 inches of infield mix with native infield mix and be ready for the spring.
Any questions on the infield? No? Okay. I would entertain a motion then to authorize the Parks and Rec Department to utilize $14,750 from the Parks Improvement Fund to renovate the baseball field infield at Gilman Park by Mission Turf.
So moved.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Before you go any further, Greg.
Sure.
As we're approving these, you're pretty secure that 10 Hampton's ready to go without needing any additional
Correct.
improvement funds?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Please continue.
The Gilman Park excavation and resurfacing. So if the board remembers, there was a basketball hoop at Gilman Park that was taken out prior to us building a pavilion there. So it is odd shaped, very graded towards the parking lot and with a great depression. So what we're looking to do is level it as much as possible. This falls under, for anyone that wonders, the work plan we have with SELT. So this is something for drainage and safety. But also we'll utilize some of that fill that we're gonna pull out before we level it. There's a depression further in the green space towards the cannons that was a swing set back in the 1990s. It gets filled up with water. It's a tripping hazard. So we're gonna kill 2 birds with 1 stone and fill it in, loam it and hydro seed it. Obviously in the drought conditions, that's the best we can. There's no water on site, but at least we'll stabilize the soil and soon we'll have work. We are recommending BWP Excavation out of East Kingston. They performed work at Planet Playground as well as 10 Hampton Road. Again, Bateman Landscaping did not provide enough detail. They actually wanted to bring in fill, which didn't make sense, even though they were instructed to bring it down. So we are recommending BWP Excavation.
Okay. Any questions?
I just have one puzzling thing. With the, when we removed the basketball court and created that depression in the field, do you know why that wasn't dealt with at that time? Or was it, and it's just worn down again.
It's worn down, and unfortunately, people, and that's the next thing we'll get to, the guardrail, people have decided to drive on there and do,
Wheelies?
yes. So we're trying to stop it because we've pretty much created a little low spot. So it doesn't drain. There's a lip from all the years of plowing as well.
Yep.
So it doesn't let the water flow where it should.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. Any other questions? I would entertain a motion then to authorize the Parks and Recreation Department to utilize $7,982 from the Parks Improvement Fund to install guardrails. Oh, I'm sorry. Scratch that. Reading the wrong thing. I would entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Rec Department to utilize $12,840 from the Parks Improvement Fund to regrade and improve drainage on the former site of the basketball court and correct the large settlement by BWP excavation.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And back to the Gilman Park, guardrail installation. So we're looking to install a identical guardrail that is adjacent to it on the other side to mimic that side, and also secure it because, as we've seen, people are driving in it. Right now, the only thing to keep people off of that green space is some deteriorating telephone poles that will be removed and disposed of, and a couple boulders. So in between those will be 3 tree wells as well, and so we'll plant 3 more trees to mimic the other side. So we'll have a nice little area, and they'll grow up nice and tall. So in the future, if we want to develop it, we can develop it further.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Recreation Department to utilize $7,982 from the Parks Improvement Fund to install guardrails at Gilman Park by AAA Fence.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And Mr. Chair, the Gilman Park trees would be purchased right from Stratham Circle Nursery, who is our wholesaler for trees.
Any questions? I would then entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Recreation Department to utilize $1,200 from the Parks Improvement Fund to purchase trees from Stratham Circle Nursery to complete the guardrail project at Gilman Park.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Our next focus would be the Dan R. Healy Bathhouse. As you know, last year, we started renovating the outside by painting, filling in the holes. We replaced doors. We wanted to address this facility before it deteriorated any further. After the facility assessment came through saying that it should be replaced in 10-plus years, we feel a seasonal building with bones like that is a strong asset just to put some money into. Once we do this, it'll bring up to modern standards. And just to give you a little snapshot, we closed the pool yesterday, and we had over 9,000 people pay to enter that pool.
Wow.
In the summer. And that's not including summer camp swim lessons. So 9,000 people travel to Exeter to use the pool.
So it just, sorry to interrupt, it's closed for the season? Or?
Closed for the season, unfortunately. Municipal pools have a very difficult time keeping lifeguards because it's college and high school staff, and they all are leaving
Heading
us.
back to school.
Got it.
Portsmouth closed yesterday as well, and I think Dover is open. No, Dover's outdoor pool isn't even open because they're renovating it right now. So
Okay.
That's always a challenge.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So some of the things we're now looking to. I have pictures in there, so if you haven't been in our gracious pool, you can kind of see pictures. Removal of the cement partitions in the women's and men's locker room by park staff. Basically, what this has is pigeonholed us. There's no expansion for ADA, and we'll get to that. Removal of countertops and equipment from the concession stand to be conducted by the Parks and Rec staff as well. Removing these built-in cabinets will facilitate the department's compliance with ServSafe standards within our concession facility. So to give that, any place that has a crevice that a little friend could have a home in, we want to get rid of those. So we want to make sure it's wide open so we can always move things and clean them. Then we're gonna carry the color in from the outside in. We're gonna paint the walls after our staff has patched all of the holes that they've created. We solicited 5 estimates. We were recommending primitive painting for $3,200, and they will come in for 2 coats of the Sherwin-Williams Duration, which is an outdoor paint. We're using an outdoor paint inside because of the harsh conditions we have being seasonal, for $3,200.
Any questions?
No, other than, that's quite a difference with all the other bids.
Yeah.
Yes, and I questioned that too, and
Okay.
it's a 2-person paint company.
Okay.
and-
I'm sure you vetted it fine.
Yeah.
I just was surprised that that's quite a difference, but.
One logistical the board voted to rename it's the Dan Healy.
Yes.
Not Daniel, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Any other questions? And I would entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Recreation Department to utilize $3,200 from the Parks Improvement Fund to paint the interior of the Dan R. Healy Pool by Primitive Painting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries.
So our next step is doing the epoxy paint, but sorry, I put them out of order. The next would be to purchase modern solid poly partitions to match the new paint colors. That's $14,700. The park staff will install them over the winter, a good winter project. And so this will actually be able to we're reconfiguring our locker rooms to have an ADA family changing stall. Right now, we don't. So it's very difficult for anyone that has small kids or may have someone with a disability. Installation of these will happen again during winter months, once the walls and the floor has been completed this fall, and all of our projects are stopped due to the weather outside. So 4 estimates, Partition Plus is the one that is the lowest bid, and that's who I would recommend.
I only have one.
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
go ahead.
Well, I was looking for it because I was afraid, thought I missed it. What about the ADA changing table? Do we have one, or is that purchase coming down the
That
road?
purchase will be coming later.
For the bathhouse?
Yeah.
You're, okay.
Not,
No,
no,
you're gonna
not,
put an electric one in?
not the electric one.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's no.
I thought it had to be electric. Isn't the one downtown?
It is, so I think we should probably have a discussion because
Okay.
this is only open for 8 weeks or 8 to 10 weeks a year, and it's out to the weather elements and everything, so we probably need to talk about that
Okay.
at another time.
It's a good question, thank you.
I will say, there is going to be a fully accessible, powered, ADA accessible adult changing table at 10 Hampton. So I know we don't want to make them walk up the hill,
I
but I'm just
don't.
saying, right, but I'm just letting you know, there is one there, but
Okay.
we'll have to be careful about what we do because it's outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
The building
If we
isn't
could
fully
block it
sealed.
in or something, I don't
Yeah,
know,
no,
but
it's not
I'll
fully
wait
sealed.
for you to get it back.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Greg, I want to be clear, you've highlighted Partition Plus, but you're recommending Partition King. Which one?
No, my memo says Partition Plus. You don't,
Okay.
I apologize.
So it's Partition Plus?
That's correct, for
For
14,000.
14.7, okay.
Yep.
Because that's not what mine says. I would entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Rec Department to utilize $14,700 from the Parks Improvement Fund for the purchase of bathroom partitions for the Dan Healy Pool from Partition Plus.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Last is dealing with the floor. We're going with the epoxy floor. Years ago, an inappropriate epoxy was applied, so we need to grind it and reapply epoxy that is slip resistant. It'll carry the colors in from the outside in as well. 4 estimates have been obtained, with the lowest estimate being Epoxy Whiz out of Massachusetts. They are the only ones that supply a 5-year warranty in a commercial setting. So we're very thrilled with that one.
Any questions, discussion?
Yeah. You keep talking about matching paint interior and exterior. Have you chosen a color?
It is a Battleship silver and a blue.
No, is there going to be a mural on the tennis court side?
That could be a possibility down the
Could be
line.
a summer project.
Yeah.
Just curious, I miss the whales.
Anything else? And I would entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Rec Department to utilize $9,683 from the Parks Improvement Fund to contract with Epoxy Whiz to grind and epoxy the Dan Healy Pool house floor.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And last, with the completion of Planet Playground, 10 Hampton Road, and soon to be the renovated bathhouse at the Dan Healy Bathhouse, we're looking to extend the walkway that will stretch all the way from 4 Hampton Road to 10 Hampton Road and have a connected path that is ADA accessible all the way there. We solicited 3 bids in conjunction with Hampshire Development Corp. To be a single contractor to do both projects, which will facilitate a seamless surface and prevent any indifferences between the works. Bell and Flynn did not bid on this one, but all at the 3 bids, MWS, I'm sorry, paving for $24,500.
MSW?
MWS, I apologize.
That's okay. I'll make sure we get it right.
Hold on, because you have it as MSW
Yeah.
I'm confused.
twice. So you just have to confirm which one it is.
Right. Thank you.
Okay.
MSW? We'll
Let's get
just pull it up, just to make sure.
Yep,
He's going to look it up.
I apologize for that.
It's all right.
Sorry, it is MWS paving.
MWS. Okay.
Okay.
That's what Google says. That's what Google says.
Yeah. Okay. I would entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Rec Department to utilize $24,500 from the Parks Improvement Fund to contract with MWS Paving to pave and extend the walkway to connect 4 Hampton Road to 10 Hampton Road.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. For those watching at home, the current balance of the Park Improvement Fund before Mr. Bison's presentation was $140,000. The board has just approved $88,605, which leaves a balance of $48,895.
That's the scorecard.
And if I may, Mr. Chair, I'd
Please.
like to thank the Parks and Rec Department. They submitted the ADA walkway at the park for a AARP grant. Unfortunately, they were unsuccessful, but I just wanted to give them credit for trying to find alternative funds.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you for that, Greg. You got the permit next?
Yes. Permit or donation?
We've got the permit.
Okay. As I sit before you, we're putting in our annual permit for the Powder Keg Beer and Chili Festival. It has been approved by all of the chiefs, Madison Bailey, our health officer, as well as Jay Perkins, the DPW.
How are you doing on volunteers?
The morning shift is full. We desperately need afternoon volunteers.
Okay.
Thank you for that plug. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to authorize the special event application for the Powder Keg Beer and Chili Fest to be held on October 4th, 2025, Swayze Parkway, from the hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
And lastly, a generous donation.
I'm going to recuse.
A dedicated resident that supports Parks and Rec has donated a gift certificate to purchase tea for our new coffee station at 10 Hampton Road. Thank you, Nancy, for the donation. And it's going to be open to the public, so anyone that comes in can enjoy a cup of tea or coffee.
Very well. Any questions or comments? And seeing none, I would entertain a motion to accept the donation from Nancy Belanger for a gift certificate of $100 to be used for the public use for the new coffee station at 10 Hampton Road.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion.
Huge thanks.
With huge thanks. A motion and a second. Huge thanks. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
right,
Thank you,
thank you.
Nancy. Thank you, Mr. Bisson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Melissa, did you want to walk us through the next request for a penalty and interest waiver?
Sure. So Donna Bennett, our deputy tax collector, reached out because she had a resident contact or a company on behalf of a building in town that had been charged their late fee. So the checks were received and posted on July 9th, which were created late payment penalty fees and interest fees. You'll see the fee amounts there. We typically, if a check is post-dated on the date that it's the 1st, then we'll accept it, but this was not. And so excuse me, I'm stuttering today. I'm just going to read this because this came from the deputy clerk. The Collections Department general policy regarding late payments is to keep postmarked envelopes. If the postmark is on or before the due date, a waiver may be considered. This mailing from Avid Change is considered a high volume mailing, so the envelope does not have a postmark, hence referencing the date on the check. The auto pay is a payment option in the water sewer collections department. So this would be something that we would probably typically deny. However, it is up to you folks.
And there's two penalties, one for $179.43 and one for $54.78.
Correct.
Okay.
What is Avid Exchange?
So if I'm saying this right, it is a company that pays the bills on behalf of Island Hospitality, is how it was explained to me.
So the actual
It's like they're it's a
hospitality management.
right, they're the property management.
So they dated the check when it was due.
But they said, right. It's fine.
Let's see.
That's the concern, right?
The checks were received and posted on July 9th. Let me just see.
But they were due.
Right, they were due 6:30.
Right, and if the date of the check was 6:30, but there's no way of knowing when they mailed it.
Correct.
That's my concern is that, to me, it just sounds like they were late sending the check out. I just think that's a precedent we don't want to set, but.
I tend to agree with that.
Yeah,
I am totally fine if you make a motion to deny.
Any other thoughts from the board?
You want me to make a motion?
So the checks were, the actual checks were dated prior to 7/1?
Yeah.
June 30th with a due
Right.
date, yeah.
Yes.
So the due date was June 30th, but on the actual check?
The due date was June 30th. We did not receive the checks until July 9th.
What's the date on the check is what I'm asking?
June 30th.
June
Yeah.
30th.
Does it say? I don't even see that.
Yeah, it says it, I think in the second.
Oh, yes, they're dated in the third paragraph down.
Yeah,
It says
that's-
dated June 30th.
And that's where I have the problem.
Yep.
Yep. Mr. Chartrand, do you want to make a motion?
Yeah, I would make a motion to deny the request for interest and penalty waiver.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. I believe that is it for our approvals this evening, so Ms. Roy, if you could, here's the
Yes.
town manager's report.
Let me just pull it up. So some of the staff already beat me to a few of the things, which is fantastic. So let me just pull this up. The town clerk's office notified us that they will be closed Wednesday, October 29th through the 31st of 2025 to attend the 100-year Clerks Conference. They're celebrating 100 years. We are posting that everywhere within this building, online, website, the whole shebang. But just to give you guys a heads up, I attended the weekly 10 Hampton Road construction update meeting. Like Greg said, it's going well. They actually started interior painting today. You did hear that the ADA lift is on back order, so we're working on that. I attended the weekly weekly police and fire substation meeting. The project is moving forward and we're preparing for early site bid docs. We have another Tuesday meeting tomorrow. Met with Unitil, DPW, and the third party they hired to trim the trees in downtown, worked to ensure that all downtown tree trimming met the town's expectations. I'd like to thank Dan for making the time to come to that meeting and representing the downtown business owners. He looked at trees that affected everybody down there, so it was really quite helpful, so I thank you for your time. I am continuing to work with DPW on the request from Lint for increased water capacity at their facility, so we're continuing there. The finance director, Corey Stevens, and myself met with the library director, Julia Lanter. You heard that a little bit about that to discuss the FY26 budget and the year-to-date budgets. I just would like to say, which is what Corey already said, but he beat me to it, it's been a real pleasure to work with Julia. She's really meeting with us, talking with us in the spirit of communication, and it's just been really lovely, and I wanted to really thank her for that. Even when numbers are not lining up and we're working through things, it's just been really great. So I thank her very much for that. I represented the town at the CIP meeting at the planning board last Thursday night, so thank you to all the department heads who attended that meeting, came out for that. It went smoothly. Last Friday, I attended the monthly Lunch and Learn for the Municipal Managers Association of New Hampshire. It was a great meeting. We reviewed conflict resolution, coaching, and mentoring, and it was fantastic to meet some more people, make some great connections, had a very nice time. Corey and I started meeting with the departments this morning to go review their 2026 operational budget requests. So far, today we met with the library, building department, conservation, welfare, economic development, and park and rec. We continue tomorrow and then start again back up next week.
Can I ask you
Yeah.
a question on that?
I'm going kinda fast.
and our ice and snow removal.
Yep.
Okay, so just the ADA meeting that we had that was not recorded, that was a really
Yes.
big part of that conversation, so.
Sidewalks.
The sidewalks and how when we plow
Yeah.
and people who don't have, I don't know the right term, but they can't really see the different shades. So when the sidewalks are done, it's great, but then the plows come and we need to kind of focus a little bit better on going back and redoing the sidewalks,
Yeah,
or at
so-
least near the roads and.
Director
okay.
Cronin and Jay Perkins and I have had a few discussions about that.
Great.
Sometimes it is about the timing of the storm. And also I believe now have 2 sidewalk tractors up and going. I will confirm that. I don't want to speak
That'd be great. I
the
just
wrong
wanted to
thing,
make sure
But it is on their radar.
it's part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But thank you for bringing that up. Let's see. Held my weekly HR internal staff meeting, always multiple personnel discussions, conflict resolution, recruitment, and retaining, like Corey had talked about. We did have a firefighter resign, but within a week and a half, we were able to quickly interview and make an offer to a new firefighter, an EMT, which did accept, which was very exciting. That does not normally happen.
Good job.
So kudos to the fire department. We did receive a resignation letter from one of our dispatchers, so police is going to be looking for a new dispatcher. Today was the last day of our Welfare Human Services Coordinator, Clarissa Copen. We thank her for her year of service. Unfortunately, her family moved about 2.5 hours away to northern New Hampshire for her husband's job. She really didn't want to leave, so it was, she will be missed. The position is posted, and we will be interviewing soon. Until then, Pam McElroy has offered to step in and help us with the welfare clients, so we thank her for taking that on, because we just took that and gave her a break, and she's going to take that back, so we appreciate that. We did, in DPW, have an employee rescind an accepted offer letter, which I will say doesn't typically happen, and the community they were coming from offered them $20,000 to stay. So when we talk about competition annually, yeah, that was not a one-time bonus. We are dealing with some very significant issues when even when we find people to bring in. So just, I don't want to say that. I'm not going to talk about the community that did it, because that is their own business, but just so
Right.
that the board understands the level of competition that we are sometimes dealing with in certain positions. So that was a very big disappointment for us. I worked with a resident complaint this week with you, Chairperson Papakostantis, regarding the telephone poles at the train station, and we will have DPW Director Cronin come in soon to speak a little bit more about that. I would like to take a minute. I received the nicest email from Steve Dalton, who was here earlier, and it was thanking our IT Director, Steve Bailey. And Steve went down to Water Sewer, helped him with something, ended up saving them a ton of money. But it was so nice to receive an email about another staff member thanking them. And I just wanted you guys to hear that, because I just was so happy when I received that.
thank
And
you to
we all
both
work as a
of you.
team.
Right.
But yeah, it was really nice. But
Yeah.
that's my report.
No, and I think it's great, because we
Kinda long.
do have some great department heads, great employees that are doing such a great job working together and appreciating each other, and to put that in an email is, thank you for
Yeah.
bringing that up.
Any questions for Ms. Roy? Thank you for that very thorough report.
Sorry, it was a little long.
No, that's,
We were a busy week.
Select Board Committee reports. We'll start with Selectwoman Gilman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My Heritage Commission meeting was canceled, taking August off, and same with the Energy Committee. I do have an HDC meeting Thursday and the tax exemptions meeting on Wednesday. So we'll bring those concerns to the exemption committee and go over that.
Thank you. Selectwoman Belanger, please.
So we talked about the Housing Advisory Committee. If no one's ready to try to take that over, I can wait, because the next meeting isn't until after our select board next meeting. I had a planning board meeting on the 14th, and we had our first of 2 meetings on our capital improvements program. It went really well. I won't get into details unless everyone wants me to go line by line, but we've got a lot coming up, so. But Julia did ask, the library director, did ask about coming to the select board, so I told her to reach out to you, because you do our agenda, and have a conversation.
I'll look forward to that.
But she did a really great job
Good.
explaining it, so added that to Melissa. And then August 28th, we're going to have our second capital improvement program discussed, and then we're going to have 97 Portsmouth Ave come back to us. There were some changes that they talked about at our August 13th site walk, so I wanted the public to be aware of that, because those aren't video recorded. And then we have a wetlands conditional use permit for Ashbrook Road on that same night, and that is it for me.
Great, thank you. Selectwoman Cowan.
I have nothing to report.
Okay. Selectman Sharp.
I did have a Conservation Commission meeting on Tuesday, August 12th at 7 PM. The Concom did their usual great job. They weren't making a recommendation on a project at River Run Manufactured Home Park, but there's a project that's being developed to try to cut the erosion in the Exeter River. And the Concom did such a great job of advising the contractor who was kind of coming there to feel it out. So I just continue to be impressed by the quality of our Conservation Commission. They also did some great work with Kristen, the staff side support person for the Conservation Commission, really wrestling with the budget proposal. And Kristen kind of laid out that this is a tough year. And so they made some good, tough choices, and I was impressed by that as well. I want to talk a little bit more about the tree thing, because I did ask for a meeting with the tree contractor that Unitil brought in. And I was very impressed with the contractor. They listened very carefully. But the thing that, the most important thing that happened in the meeting, I think, is that we started to talk about balancing the different utilities. There is the important utility of the electric wires and making sure that the trees aren't impinging on them. But then there's also the utility of shade trees in the downtown and how they coax pedestrians to linger. And that's a utility that takes decades to grow. And so we were able to have a great detailed conversation with them about individual trees and balancing that utility of, accessing the electric wires and maintaining the utility of the shade trees. The contractor agreed to not do a 5-year clearance. They had agreed to just do a 1 to 2 year clearance. And a big part of that was we talked about these two different utilities that we were trying to balance, and they understood that balancing that was important, given how long it takes to develop shade. So I was really pleased with it, and I want to thank Melissa for pulling that meeting together, and I also want to thank Steve, our DPW director, and Kirk and Jay, Kirk Scammon and Jay Perkins. They were right there with me. Jay cares very deeply about these trees, all of the trees, and I felt very supported in my concerns, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Great, thank you. I had a tree committee meeting on Tuesday morning, during which 3 members of Unitil came in to describe the work that you supervised. So in addition to that, the tree committee will be looking forward to coming in front of the board sometime in the fall to talk about the work that they're doing. I met with Corey and Melissa for our weekly get-together and worked with you a little bit on the trees and the trains, and I think we're in a good space moving forward. And I want to thank you for volunteering your time, like on very short notice, to be there.
I neglected to thank you. You were also instrumental in getting that meeting to come together, so my apologies.
Well, no.
No, you were.
Melissa's the one that put it together, but I appreciate.
You both responded to my expression of concern. So thank you for that.
Did so while trying to sandwich a couple days off with my family. So everything worked out well.
I was harassing you on it. You were trying to take off, so I appreciate it.
Under correspondence, this week I've got Swayze Park and Pearpoint next week, so I'll have some updates on September 2nd. Correspondence, we have an email from Beverly Whitehouse, which I did reply to, and also spoke with Keith, as I said yesterday morning. Reviewing the board calendar, we meet September 2nd, September 15th, September 29th, and I promise you that on September 2nd, we can try to go all the way out through December. So with that, at 8:35, is there any other business before the board?
Yes, Mr. Chair,
Okay.
I need to move that the board go into non-public under RSA 91A 32L, please.
Okay.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please.
Selectman Chartran.
Aye.
Selectman Cowan.
Aye.
Selectwoman Gilman.
Aye.
The clerk says aye, Mr. Chair.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. The board will be moving into non-public.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.